Australians are inspired to understand their democracy.
You listen to D.I.Wireless, an Aussie punk rock podcast. Check it out, mate.
Working 28 years for the company. Will I ever be secure financially? I don't know, gonna have to wait and see, but I don't wanna be.
Welcome everyone to the next episode of D.I.Wireless. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I have got to be honest with you, it's going to be pretty hard to get through this particular interview without coming off like a bit of a fanboy. You can count them off: Kid Dynamite, None More Black, Legwork, and even some demos of some solo stuff that he's put out. The gentleman who's sitting next to me, anything that he's been involved in, I've enjoyed thoroughly throughout his career. A big welcome to our guest for our latest episode of D.I.Wireless. It's Jason Shevchuck. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Thank you for the kind words.
If I never had a point, then when I turn it all, I push you on the bullshit, just waiting for the fall. Give it X, what a four, give it X, what a four, give it X, what a four, I can't take it, give it X, what a four, give it X, what a four, give it X, what a fucking I can't take it now. Not at this time in my life. It's not enough for me to pay you. I am never enough for you. Try to understand, so I stop trying to prove something that I can't, 'cause I never get through to you. It's not enough for me to pay you. I am never enough for you.
Let's start things off, mate, with some Kid Dynamite stuff, because it's the stuff that you've got kind of active right now. After getting back and playing some reunion shows recently, you've got some in 2013 that are coming up?
Yeah, we're going to be in Belgium at the end of April.
Yep.
And
That includes Grows Rock, right?
yeah, that's
Yep.
Grows Rock.
Yeah.
And that's all we have announced right now.
There could be some other stuff on the horizon.
I don't want to say anything that doesn't happen. So
It's been active with Kid Dynamite basically since...
we get offers we were getting offers all the time. So we played CB's in 2006, I think. And then after that, we always got offers, and Dan would always be like, "Hey guys, I just want to let you know we got this offer." And then we would all kind of be like, whatever. It was usually like none of us were interested, or Dan couldn't do it because of Painted Black, or any of his other million obligations. So then This Is Hardcore came in 2010 in the summer, and we all kind of felt like, okay, let's do it. It could be fun. So we did that, and then a couple other offers came in, like West Coast. Like I had mentioned, I said, let's go to the West Coast. Just so happens that FYF Fest came in, and we're like, okay, let's do a small show. Threw in Chain Reaction. Then we booked Fun Fest in Austin, and coincidentally, I forget who, but I think Politis was having a baby when Lifetime was supposed to play the fest. So a couple weeks prior, Lifetime had to bail, so Kid Dynamite took their spot. So that's how that story goes.
So I saw the Fest 10 show and it was completely nuts. What's it like sort of seeing the reaction of people 10 years down the track, like to this music that you guys had for that small pocket of time back then?
It's exciting, you know. If it wasn't exciting, we wouldn't keep booking shows, you know. It seems like there's a definite passion for it, and you know, there's a give and take. Like when we get up there and play, you know, we're definitely giving it everything that we've got, and I think it comes back to us, you know, tenfold. It's really kind of indescribable, you know.
Getting back together and playing and still seeing people get completely pumped, do you ever sort of stop and think that the influence that you did sort of have? Did you have time to sort of reflect and think about what you sort of achieved in that time?
No, I'm not and this is a character flaw in me. It's that I don't stop and smell the roses, you know. I constantly feel like a failure. So even if I look at all the records on the wall, you know, I don't see it like that. It's strange. Yeah.
You feel you could have done better, or?
I don't know. It's just something that we did, and I don't really. It's hard to put it in that kind of way. Like we influenced anybody, you know. I guess because maybe I don't feel influenced. I feel inspired, but I don't feel influenced. Like nobody influenced me to do what I do, but I'm inspired by and I enjoy things, you know. Yeah. Maybe I'm influenced and I don't know it, or I'm pushed a certain way, but it's all because of what I like, you know. And that's what music is. It's like the music I write doesn't reflect what I listen to or what I really enjoy. It's just what comes out of me, you know, what I feel works.
But like you said, it's exciting to see people who were not even around when Kid Dynamite was sort of kicking around, getting completely pumped at these shows.
I wonder how that happens. Like, there's a lot of young kids, and I don't know how they're turned on to it, you know?
And there's a lot of music out there as well, compared to a band that is only playing shows every now and then.
Right, and there's a lot of awesome bands playing now, so who cares about the past, you know? And it's exciting that we're relevant in some way, and that we're passed on, and people are making copies of our stuff. And yeah, it's great, and we're thankful for every second of it, you know?
I mean, there's adoration out there for Kid Dynamite, and obviously you moved on into different musical projects after that, in particular with your good friends in None More Black. They were, your great mates, and you started kicking around playing music with them. Did you ever struggle with the adoration for Kid Dynamite, particularly moving into None More Black?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it might have been confusing because not everybody knows about songwriting, like how a band works, and how Kid Dynamite worked was Dan wrote all the music. Then we all came in, and Wagon Shoots put his salt and pepper in. I wrote lyrics and melodies, and that was it. But None More Black was the first time that I was writing songs. And, without Dan, I probably wouldn't have had that discipline of songs on my own and feeling confident about them. And the two bands couldn't be more different. The only similarities are, vocal content and my voice, and sensibilities. So there was that. There was people thinking that None More Black was going to sound like Kid Dynamite. And I think that the fact that we got so much attention right off the bat was because I was in Kid Dynamite. Not that it put pressure on me, it just was a little too much too fast, maybe. Maybe we wouldn't have ended up on Fat Records, if Fat Mike wasn't a fan of Kid Dynamite. I think it was more about expectations, what people expected of the music. And later with Legrisha, it was even harder because I had two bands to explain for, to explain. And that was nothing like the other two. I tried to do something a little bit more one guitar, a little bit more subdued, a little less loud. So I had definitely had issues with it then because I was like, we don't sound anything like Kid Dynamite or None More Black, so don't bother coming to the show if that's what you expect. But yeah, it's and I think since KD started playing again, I've come to terms with it. I'm just going to accept it that it's a huge part of my life, and I'm not going to try to, stop. It's hard to explain, but I'm not going to try to shun.
Did you used to?
I think I did, yeah. Right. Yeah. I wouldn't to someone's face. I mean, if someone said they loved Kid Dynamite, I'm totally grateful, But it's a weird feeling, when you want to be recognized for one thing, but they keep going back to the root,
How long do you think the one-offs can keep rolling on? The one-offs for Kid Dynamite I'm talking about. I mean, it's great. You said it. You're excited by it. You wouldn't be doing it if you didn't. So you were saying you want the opportunity to keep taking Kid Dynamite to places that you didn't get the chance to when you were together for the short period of time that Kid Dynamite was around.
Right. As long as we all have the energy and it doesn't lose its passion, that we would stop the day that stopped happening. It's like when we do these shows, we start practicing 2 months prior every week. So we try to come up with we try to get disciplined. And once that kind of stops and I have to actually train for this stuff. Like to get back into holding a microphone and singing these songs, because they're really fast, I actually have to physically train for them so I can breathe. Because it's different than None More Black, where I'm just standing there holding a guitar, which is a challenge unto itself. But with Kid Dynamite, it's actually, and I'm sure it's the same with everybody, because Dave doesn't really play his drums that much, but when we do it, we put everything we've got into it. And when we can't do that anymore, then there's no point. But I would say maybe we'll do some shows the rest of this year if it happens. Maybe next year we'll do a few, and who knows, 5 years from now. If we can do it and everyone wants to do it, we'll do it. I don't know who would want to see it, but
I'm pretty sure there's some people listening to this back home in Australia who would be absolutely stoked if it could happen down there. But let's wrap up our things about Kid Dynamite. Favorite album that Kid Dynamite put out?
Jeez. I think it's probably the split we did with 88 Fingers Louie.
Any reason in particular?
I think it sounds incredible. We did a Black Flag cover. We did it in a weekend. We recorded at Indre Studios. And it's actually a funny story that we went to, I forget the name of the studio we started at. It was like a Dead Milkmen had recorded there. And that was their claim to fame. They were in North Philly, and the place was a shithole. And Steve Evans recorded that EP with us. And it took the whole first day, like Pieces of the board were broken, and Steve's taking the board apart trying to fix it. None of the mics, none of the inputs are working. Steve's fuming. You could see steam coming out of his ears, and we went out to dinner that night, and he's like, guys, we got to get out of this studio now. So we pulled out of that studio, and he got us in Indre, which is a beautiful space. It's one of the largest tracking rooms. Like, the ceiling is huge. It's like 3 stories high before any sound reverberates off the ceiling. And it was just a fantastic experience. And I think it sounds incredible.
Any regrets from your Kid Dynamite stay?
No regrets. I mean, clearly we're all still here doing it, so how can you have any regrets?
Perfect. We always invite our guests to play some stuff on the show. You've got some Suicidal Tendencies for us. First up, can you tell us a little bit about why you love this so much? It's from their first record.
Yeah, this is my favorite Fast song ever. It's called Two-Sided Politics. And funny thing is I actually wanted to cover this with Kid Dynamite, but we did I think it was for a 7-inch we did for I Stand Alone magazine. We ended up doing like Minor Threat covers, and I wanted to do this, but we just couldn't do it. We couldn't make it work. We couldn't
pull it off?
We didn't try. It just, these other songs took precedence, so.
It's a fast one. Jason from Kid Dynamite and More Black has requested. It's Two-Sided Politics. This is D.I.Wireless. We'll be back with Jason very, very shortly.
I'm gonna decide to decide destiny, and I'm gonna have to really give it, get that to me, and I'm gonna have to drink it, get that to me, and I'm gonna have to anything, I'm quite free. Backstage, open up, I let you the toy stuff, just like the living freedom, you're gonna have you to take it down. Suicide politics, one for them and none for me. Suicide politics, what was that with me? I'm gonna have the Reagan's up to me, and I'm gonna have the government's up to me, and I'm gonna have the politics up to me, and I'm gonna have to say anything, I just might be free. Innocent, never guilty, I can throw you in, give you more, must be guilty, even if you're gonna take it down. Suicide politics.
All right, that was Suicidal Tendencies on D.I.Wireless. We're back with Mr. Jason Shevchuck from None More Black Kid Dynamite fame. Now, it's pretty obvious that None More Black is the most likely place for some output. But when you guys first took a hiatus, it was after This Is Satire came out. And I remember reading that you said you were actually hopeful that just quietly things might fade away for the band, that you were actually hoping that might be the end of it. The label asked you to actually call it an indefinite hiatus. And so that's what you did. Now that you've put out Icons, you came back and you put out Icons, are you back at the stage where you think that you're just hoping that just quietly things might sort of roll to a complete stop with None More Black?
It could easily like fade away, and that's a good position for us to be in because we've all got other stuff going on, and when we're all on the same page and we all have the time to do it, we'll pick up our guitars and write that new record. But until then, it could easily fade away. But now that I just answered that question, we have to do another record because we can't fade away if we're doing interviews. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough. You wouldn't be here talking to me.
There's no intention of fading away.
Do you still get the itch at the moment, songwriting-wise?
I write all the time. And if None More Black doesn't end up doing another record, I'm going to do something by myself.
So, because I've heard you say that compared to when you were actively touring, normality is where you actually you feel more comfortable in writing songs.
Right. I feel like when you're constantly in band mode, it's hard to write songs from a real life perspective. All your songs are rooted in a certain place.
And it's a weird place. It's the where people are offering you all sorts of things. It's not a real world.
Or not. It's a place where most of the time you're miserable. It's good to live a little bit of life, and then, let your music come out of that, I think. I'm constantly writing, and I have an iPhone full of riffs and melodies, and it's just a matter of getting together. I mean, None More Black is in a position where Richard lives in Florida. I live in Jersey, Colin's in Philadelphia, Paul's in New York. So we have to fly Richard up and put in a marathon weekend And who knows when we're going to get that marathon weekend again to finish those songs. So it's difficult to keep momentum. The bigger the gaps between our performances and our practices, the less effort goes into practicing and putting out new records, and then the product suffers. And once that happens, we just have to call it quits, you know?
Would you consider doing some solo stuff again? Because I got to admit, just before Legration sort of started off, you did some demo stuff. You did some solo demo stuff under the name On Guard. One of my favourite songs that you've ever written is actually on there. I don't know if anyone else has said this. Lupe's Fault.
Bits of boxes and a heart of blame. I'm jumping ship for a bike and a train. Whoa, didn't settle for anything. Push out prescription and lose.
You've obviously considered it. You work in New York City, you're near New York City. You've never considered jumping in a club with an acoustic and banging out some songs?
I played one solo show for Suburban Home. They had their like flea market for one of their anniversary shows, and I'll never do it again. I'll never play a solo show as long as I live.
Why is that?
I don't like it. It's awful. I don't feel that important, and I will never get up on a stage and say, "Look at me," and listen to me sing my songs, ever. Because I don't feel that important. I'd rather just record songs and just put them out.
You've got to have respect for people that do, like your good friend Dave Hawes, who have
I don't know how he does it. I really don't. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he can get up there and belt out those songs with an acoustic. Of all things, an acoustic is one of the hardest things to play and have it sound and have it give you energy. You know, there's no power to it, but he manages to do it. I don't know how. The strings feel dry all the time. The sound just feels dead. But he pulls it off. I'll never do that. I'm not that good of a guitar player either. It's like
you hide behind Colin in them, like
exactly.
Jason, we're going to invite you to play some more music right now. The second song we've got is a band completely new to me. You're going to have to tell us a little about them. They're a band called Propane. You said they're from the New York area?
Yeah. I've been listening to this band since I was in high school. Actually, my band the band I had in high school, actually got a chance to play in New York with them one time, and it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. So this song's called Foul Taste of Freedom, off the record Foul Taste of Freedom. Yeah, it just brings me back.
Checks, no avoid. We are the land where the blue that you bleed. We have the right to survive and succeed. Brothers and we is the hour you can need. Till not the sea is a politics, the freedom in me. Budget cuts and tax hikes across the land. Apprenticing the weak die by your hand. If you're proud of your country, then you're probably rich. But if you're fed up, you better piss. Yankee Doodle did win, went it down. Apple pie, Chevrolet, shut it down. A patriotic man, Dr. Freak is bound to serve the country then, serve them weak. We are the red, white, and blue that you bleed. We have the right to survive and succeed. Brothers and we is the hour you can need. Turn out the sea, these are politics, the freedom in me.
Jason, the way that things finished with Kid Dynamite, with you wanting to stop touring, to what's happening now with None More Black taking a little bit of a lull, even though you're there with the backing of a solid label and people love the band. These little things we talked about, with you never felt confident with, say, an acoustic guitar, or you never really thought about your influence too much. You obviously had ability as a songwriter and as a performer in punk rock bands. Did you ever think that you were sort of reluctant to have that ability? Did you feel that it was a bit of a curse in a way?
Yeah, I think I wrote a song about that.
Which one?
It's called "Oh, There's Legwork." That song's about me not feeling like I deserve to be where I'm at.
Things that I choose require opinions, demand satisfaction, commercial reaction. Just keep on moving, losing every thread. Time to the place I call home. When all is said and
I started playing music in high school. My friend Danny taught me how to play bass. I joined his band. From there on, I just stayed in bands, you know?
There's obviously a passion there for it, though.
Absolutely.
It was just, there was a reluctancy to have all this crazy stuff happen in your career with your bands becoming popular.
There's a passion in me now, like, that makes me want to plug in my guitar at home and play, you know? It's an easy thing to do, and because it's immediate. Like, there's an immediacy to writing a riff and being able to put a melody to it immediately, you know? Like, obviously there's an immediacy to being immediate, but it's rewarding and it's immediate. It's easy for me to do, you know?
Have you ever wished that you could turn it off completely? Yeah.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't mind walking away?
I wouldn't mind it. No, not at all. But I can't.
It's the only reason I ask is it's so interesting. There's people that would, give their arm and a leg to have the chance, and will slug away, and will.
Why can't they? You know, just work hard, and if it happens, it happens. You know, anybody can do it, I guess, right? Anybody can write a song. Just got to get people to hear it and like it. You know, I don't know. I'm not one of those guys that's like I live and breathe this, because I obviously don't. It's like one aspect of my life, and when I'm doing it, I do it the best that I can. And when I'm not doing it, I try not to think about it, because it gets in the way of all the other things that I am trying to do. You know, because the second someone says, "Hey, you guys want to do this?" it's real easy to say, "Okay," and next thing you know, you're practicing, playing shows all the time, and whatever you had that was at the forefront of your life gets pushed back very easily. So I try not to, you know, and that's another thing that Yeeman has taught me. It's you have to compartmentalize, you know, those parts of your life.
Do you think if Kid Dynamite or None More Black came along in 2013 with the kind of environment that there is for musicians now, is it hard to compare whether they'd get off the ground and have the same success?
The environment is the reason we're not playing anymore, you know? The environment is it's really hard. Take gas prices, you know? How does a mid-level or low-level band afford to tour?
The way you guys did, anyway.
Right. It's. I mean, if you have a city that's, you know, you're playing. What's today? Thursday. You know, you're in New York tonight and you're in Baltimore tomorrow. You know, that's a lot of money in your gas tank. And how much are you possibly getting paid? You know, it's a really hard time to be touring if you don't have records out. You know, if you're not supporting somebody bigger. You know, you almost have to get into this system of booking agents, management. You know, these things that. You have to become a business. You can't just be a band. And I'm not saying that there isn't an underground network, because let's face it, punk rock and hardcore aren't exactly underground anymore. You know, they're highly financed these days.
We're gonna wrap up this little bit with a couple of quotes. You're in a band called Bound.
Yeah.
This was before Kid Dynamite.
Yep.
I'm gonna give you a couple of quotes from an article I read when you were in Bound. So this is like 97, 98?
No, this was 95.
Wow.
95. Shortly before I tried out for Kid Dynamite, we ended. Bound's last show was the same month as Kid Dynamite's first show. It's like I had one foot on each boat, and I almost didn't join Kid Dynamite. I was in another band with Nick, who started Bound with me, but I played bass, and it was fun, and it was good, and I remember Dan after my first tryout for Kid Dynamite. He called me and we were talking. And I was like, I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I don't know if I want to continue. He's like, well, don't mess around with us, man. He like freaked out on me. I was like, all right, chill. I was like, I'll get back to you. And I made the decision. I was like, this is the right thing to do. This is,
A good decision, I think.
Can you imagine if I didn't?
Do you think about it sometimes?
No, I don't.
That's right, you don't look back.
But I am looking for the tapes, our practice tapes of that band, just because I want to hear those songs.
Let's get back to where we were. The couple of quotes when you're in band in 1995, let's say, this article's from. When you're talking about the hardcore scene, how old were you?
18, 19?
Nice. Your quotes were, I love the positivity, I love how anything goes. And your other one was, I know when I'm 40 and I look back at the memories I've had in hardcore, it's going to make me smile. Is it weird to hear those words now, like considering that you said them as an 18-year-old, everything that's gone under the bridge since?
Hey, I was right, man.
He's got a smile on his face. Let's play some more music, Jason. You've chosen some Van Halen for us, and you are backing this record that they released last year as a classic rock record.
Yep, this record, A Different Kind of Truth. This song is called Big River, and the song exemplifies the record. It rocks, good hooks, Diamond Dave is back, and I'm not joking. I'm not like one of those, Van Halen's great, this record's great. It's really an awesome record. It gets plenty of rotation.
That was Van Halen on D.I. Wireless. Wrapping things up with Jason from Kid Dynamite from None More Black. We just had this discussion. How close were you of ever getting out to my homeland of Australia throughout the whole career?
It's funny because None More Black was just offered an Australian tour.
You're kidding.
I don't know if we're doing it.
Internet dudes might get excited about it, whether or not you're doing it or not.
We'll see. Because it's one of those things where it's a headlining tour, and we've never been there, and Australia's big, and I know that for a fact that our record sales don't really reflect the kind of offers we're getting. We were always kind of holding out for we were always getting offers for support tours, but we couldn't go. And if we go, I think that's the way to go, is to support somebody, not to headline.
Sure.
But we'll see.
But
We're one of 46 people who bought our record in Australia.
I feel bad for my countrymen and women right now. I seriously do. We're gonna wrap things up, Jason. We really do appreciate you taking the time out here in New York City to chat to us. And thank you from a personal level, and from those 46 people who bought the None More Black record, and all the people who absolutely have loved everything done in Kid Dynamite before that. Really do appreciate everything, and wish you the best with whatever rolls around from there.
Thank you very much.
We're gonna play Never Met the Gooch. Can you recall anything about this song, writing it, performing it? Do you have it in the set list?
Yep. Every show. We only had 48 songs, so
I was trying to remember your fest set and how many songs were in it.
22 songs or something. Okay, we don't play most of them, but we play a lot.
Whatever makes the cut. This is Never Met the Gooch. Thank you very much for tuning into this episode of D.I. Wireless. We'll catch you next time.